Attorneys general across the country are taking part in Operation Robocall Roundup. It's an effort to keep your calls clear of those pesky solicitors. The campaign is headed by the Anti-Robocall Litigation Task Force formed by AGs in 2022. We're joined now by the state of Maine's Attorney General, Aaron Fry. Aaron, first off, thank you so much for your time today.
Good afternoon, and thanks for your interest.
Sure. So as we can all agree, scammers are the absolute worst. What can you tell us about this operation and what's your approach here?
Yeah, Operation Robocall Roundup is just one of the many ways in which attorneys general across the United States are acting in concert with the federal government, with the Federal Trade Commission, with the Federal Communications Commission, to really get at what is at least a nuisance, but at worst, a scammer's dream. These robocalls and robotexts really are pernicious. They create pathways in which consumers are scammed out of important resources and money. And the more attention that we can bring, not only to the fact that there are federal protections, there are state protections for consumers to be free from robocalls and robotexts, but also when there are companies out there who are acting in contravention of what their responsibilities are under the law, when they're not doing what they should be doing in order to protect the consumers that rely upon them to make sure that they are not being protected from robocalls and robotexts, state attorneys general and the federal government do have the ability to take action. So what we're doing with Operation Robocall Roundup is we are putting on notice those companies that we have identified as not being appropriate actors in this space, working to hold them accountable to the responsibilities they have under the law to prevent their consumers from being nuisanced or worse, scammed through robocalls and robotexts.
Aaron, it feels like scammers are almost like cockroaches. No matter how many you deal with, they keep on, or how much you deal with it, they keep on coming back. How optimistic are you that this plan will work? And do you think Americans will actually be able to notice a difference here?
Over the 7 years that I've served as Maine's Attorney General, I have been involved in efforts that I do believe are gradually and successfully reaching a point of reducing the amount of robocalls and robotexts that are coming across. There has been increased efforts at, putting on notice, and then, of course, through some litigation, trying to hold those actors accountable who, at the source, are able to stop this from happening. So there are important regulations in place. There are important ways in which states attorneys general and the federal government is able to, hold these bad actors to account. And so I do believe that we are having success at reducing the number of calls. If we were not doing this, I think that the amount of robocalls and robotexts would be infinitely more. And of course, while it does feel like throwing a starfish in the sea, I'm sure everybody's heard that old parable. It is important to note that every time we are able to stop a robocall, stop a robotext, we are working to make sure that consumers are not going to be subject to scam activity.
Is AI affecting the robocall landscape and making it easier for these robocalls to get through and perhaps trick you into staying on the call?
Artificial intelligence is demonstrating that it's capable of with voice, with mannerisms, with the way in which it may learn and then turn around information. There is a risk to consumers that through calls, through texts, you could see some sort of either voice that's been replicated through AI, or some sort of language or conversation that's created through AI. That could very well be a way in which consumers could be scammed or targeted through robocalls or robotexts. So it is a concern. We are watching it as attorneys general. There are a number of ways in which artificial intelligence may impact consumers. And I can guarantee you that based on a conversation I had with some of my colleagues just earlier this week, artificial intelligence, not only in the robocall space, but also in the other ways in which consumers should be protected. We are thinking about how AI is changing the landscape and how we protect consumers.
Even more reason why this operation is so necessary now more than ever. Maine Attorney General Aaron Fry, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.